we can sing Surely the Presence.
Wow, that was wonderful. Thank you very much, Barbara. Rachel, thank you. morning, everyone out there in Cyberland, as well as you folks that are here today, and a special welcome to anyone who may be new. Please silence your phones if you have not already done so. That would be appreciated. Now, we have a tradition here with the Daily Word, and this week it happens to be the Daily Words, and this really struck home with me when I first read it this morning. The Daily Words are, I am. I am a living expression of God. In the book of Exodus, Moses asks God his name. God responds, I am who I am. I am is the name of the divine presence within me and the reminder of my spiritual nature. And sometimes I forget my divine identity by thinking of myself as weak, incapable, unfortunate. If I've spoken disempowering words about myself, I release those thoughts and stop using those words. Each time I say I am, I strengthen my awareness of the truth of my being. I am God's life, love, wisdom, and strength, expressing uniquely as me. As I pay attention to my thoughts and words, I'm able to recognize and release limiting thoughts and beliefs more quickly. My awareness of my true identity grows stronger and stronger. He said to them, but who do you say that I am? From Matthew chapter 16, verse 15. I am. I am a living expression of God. Please join me in our mission statements. We are a loving, nurturing community dedicated to being a positive path to spiritual living, to awaken oneness with God within us all. We dedicate this year to activating the abundance and prosperity in our lives with gratitude, love, action, and connecting to the divine within us and the world around us. We take our mission statement seriously, and we invite you to join us after the service today for fellowship, conversation, and food. As you already know, we broadcast live on our YouTube channel. Simply go to our webpage at www.unityoftheseacoast.org. Scroll down to the links for our live services or past services on your YouTube or Facebook. There's also a blue button there called Donate, which allows you to help support our outreach. If you prefer to mail your donation, our mailing address is Unity of the Seacoast, McConnell Center, Suite 246, 61 Locust Street, Dover, New Hampshire, 03820. Please visit our website or our meetup page to see event details. Coming up this week, game night, Friday night, 6:30 p.m. here. Be there or be square. Also, some other things coming up this month is our monthly meditation, first Monday of every month with Charlie. It's at 7 p.m. We also have our Reiki Circle coming up on June the 5th, 3 to 5 p.m., and it's right here in this room. And Poets in Unity on the 15th, 2 to 4 p.m., yet again, here in this room. The acoustic music circle is to be announced, but it will be from noon to 3 p.m. on that date to be announced. Okay, perhaps it will be on Father's Day. Mark your calendars. And again, game night recircles at on the 28th at 6:30 p.m. Thank you. Namaste is another tradition that we have here at Unity, and that's where we rise and say namaste to each other, in which the Christ in me sees the Christ in you, or the best in me sees the best in you. Day to all you at home.
When I was a child each week, on Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate their holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still. Now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, an even better magic trick. So anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. Holy water's rare at best, barely wet my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. There used to be a world half there, 7-second grade hand me down. Now I walk with a river and air, 'cause everything is holy now. 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 Read a child's face, say it's not a testament, and that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament, I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, saw a little red-winged bird, shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. Remember when church let out, things have changed since then, and everything is holy now. There used to be a world half there, a heaven second-rate hand-me-down, but I'm walking with a river and air, 'cause everything is holy now. 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 Everything is holy now.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Barbara. Sorry. And you too. Thank you. Now it's my favorite time of the service. I get to introduce our speaker and spiritual leader. I know he doesn't like a long introduction, so Tom Scheinler.
Thank you. What two great songs. Yeah, I love them both. I really do. So I humbly thank you while I untangle myself. Today's talk, first of all, I'm going to do seated. Combination of stuff. I was focused on do we use the Bible, but I got hung up on wanting to teach Bible lessons, and I didn't want to do that. So we'll just see what I got, and hopefully I'm allowed to do this again next week. So I was born a Catholic, and I have very good memories of being a young Catholic. We lived across the street from a church, and as kids, we would sneak into the weddings by saying friends of the groom. They knew us and would let us sit in the back, and we never caused trouble, never got invited to the receptions, but it was kind of fun, and we thought we were daring as little kids. Ooh, we snuck into church where everyone's welcome. And I attended catechism classes, and I have good memories of the nuns. I remember sneaking up one church service and going for a communion before you're allowed to get the communion. And kids in class told on me. But the nun was great. She was like that cool nun you see in the movies, who's just borderline wanting to be there or whatever. But she just praised me for being so devoted that I wanted to do it. My grandmother was the one who would mostly bring us to services. I'm sure my parents brought us to a service. I just don't remember. But she would press a nickel or a quarter into my hand. So we always had something to put in a collections plate. And I felt special when I did this. As far as I know, this church, it was my grandmother's heart. It was the only church she'd ever been in. Baptism to funeral, that was her church. And I can still feel her hand pressing that money and just patting my hand as she did that. And it created a wonderful woman in her. And my grandfather, he didn't go often. He had had a stroke around the time I was born. It was a mild stroke. He could walk. He could walk us up to the stores and all that, but wasn't going to church. At that point, everything didn't work. Oh, no, I got to stay home. But it was a good memory, happy memory. But I was always left with questions. I couldn't understand the violence in the Bible. I wondered about those fringe people who were wiped out in pursuit of God's plans, because I always felt like a fringe person. Would I be one of those people wiped out? To me, I was a good person, but I had all these questions. I wondered about a loving God, a God who would allow what I read in the Bible to happen. And I wondered about science. I believed in science. I believed that we evolved, and I believed in creation. Why did it have to be one or the other? I wonder how come we had so many religions, yet there could be only one correct religion. To me, they all led to God. And I wondered about a religion that could turn away my niece for being born out of wedlock. I read the Bible, and often I did not see it in the ways that I was taught. If I prayed, was there someone up there deciding that I was worthy enough for my prayers to be answered? It was hard for me to wrap my head around God always answers, but sometimes the answer is no. I needed meaning to incorporate into my everyday life. I needed to feel what my grandmother felt, but I knew her way wasn't for me. I began to think about God, and the more I thought, and the more I thought about my life going through difficult times, that I was made in God's image, I began to struggle with all that. And I began to think that God is spirit and loving, and that had to be the bond. And it was that combination of knowing that I was always loved, that I was able to answer the questions on why am I lost, what was going on, why did I have these questions, and I could not be the only one who had these questions. And I thought a lot about Jesus. I did not look at him from a divine, heavenly creation type of deal. I looked at him from a human perspective. What wisdom is he offering me? And I wrestled with this. And the more that I did this, the more heavenly and divine he became, because there were answers when I read the Bible, answers that the church never provided for me. For all the times we had gone to church, I never walked out of church thinking, that solves something for me. And I know for many it does, but it just was not doing that for me. Creation, freedom of expression, evolution, it's a form of love. Everything evolves. And if that's so, then God is in everything. And if God has any attributes, one must be God is love. God is omnipresence. God is universal principle, scientific principles. And all those things, they're absolute. They never change. And we stem from that. Each one of us is the product of love, omnipresence, and scientific principle combined. And that brings me to Jesus. Jesus, the Son of God. He is a product of man. How do I know this? Because he tells us this. He tells us this in the first two lines of the Lord's Prayer, Our Father. Those might be two of the most beautiful words in the Bible because it's so all-inclusive. It's not our straight father, our gay father, our Jewish father, our Catholic father. It is our Father. That must mean it includes me. It includes each one of us. Those two words tell me that God's love flows through each one of us. And if it flows through all of us, it flows through me. And that God loves me. And that blew my mind. I had one of those teary-eyed moments when I really, really felt that. I remember watching a video of Maya Angelou, and she talks about that moment when she felt that as well, and it was a crying moment for her as well. And for me to watch her video showed me that I was not alone. Someone of her stature felt what I felt, and it kind of validates my feeling. Not that I didn't trust in my feeling, but it's nice to have validation in a certain act. The most loving act is creation and the ability of freedom of expression. And we get that, and we get to use that and work with love. The Bible speaks of sin, and I was talking to Ed about this morning. That word makes people cringe. Sin, a sinner is the worst thing that you can be. We are born into sin. How, out of the gate, did I have that going against me? And that's a big hurdle to overcome your whole life, knowing that you're a sinner, no matter what you do. And then when I understood that sin meant to miss the mark, that softened the blow quite a lot. Because missing the mark is just to work against your highest self. And that's it. And we all know when we work against our higher self. Sin no more simply means stop missing the mark. Stop working against yourself. Stop doing the same things over and over, hoping for a different result. When you say that to someone else, they're less likely to run away from you. They may not want to hear it, but, when you walk up to someone and say, sin no more, they're headed for the door. And they're probably not coming back to visit you. But when you have that conversation and you say, you're working against yourself. people want to hear what you have to say. I guarantee you, they won't listen to your advice. Most people don't, but at least they're not running away from you. And then forgive us for ourselves. Forgive us for our sins. Forgive ourselves when we miss the mark. Jesus is saying we have a mulligan, and we get to use it at any time. We can forgive ourselves. We can let go of the weight that we attach to anything. In each moment, we have the ability to start over and to be the best of us. And that's such a great thing. I mean, that to me is a loving God that allows us to let go of the things that we carry. So what does that mean for me? Well, for me, it's how I found my core. You know, I walked into a Unity in Florida, and I met people who had the same questions. It was not about religion. It was about finding God within me. Since the birth of Christ and before, people have been wondering about these things and how they fit in. Well, this allowed me to do that. It found what's called practical Christianity, what I can use in my everyday life to make my life better. Every week when I walked out of that Unity church, I had a lesson that either carried me through the week or longer. You know, was I born a sinner? Well, no and yes. I'm not a sinner because Adam and Eve ate the fruit. I'm not a sinner because my parents conceived me through a way that God created. But as a baby, I missed the mark because I don't know anything. I know I have no mark to aim for. I know I want milk, I want to poop, and I want a nap. So I don't even know what a mark is at that point. So technically, I missed the mark. But we grow and we learn these things, and we learn what our mark is, where we want to be in life. You know, I've chosen to be a minister, and every once in a while, people ask me for advice. And first, let me say, I know no more than anyone else, but I know what works for me. And I'll be asked, you know, when people talk to me, a lot of times they want advice, but they want keep God out of it. I have close friends in Florida. When I told them I was a minister, they said, "Oh, don't try and sign me up. Don't give me that. If I'm a plumber, I can talk about toilets all day, but I can't do that." They're afraid of doctrine. They're afraid of all the rules that past generations have you know, put upon us. I have another friend who's an atheist, and she reminds me that she's an atheist, and I still don't know what that means. What does she not believe in? She likes to brag and post things about her being too intelligent to believe in God. And I always think, well, does she not believe in two particles coming together, mostly hydrogen, and they collide and became all that is? Does she not believe that we've evolved to be free-thinking people because free-thinking people allowed her to be an atheist? That ability to think on your own. What she sees God as what we've been taught. She doesn't see God as that thing which we all were created from. And I can't explain it to her because she would never read the post. And I don't think I've ever changed an atheist's mind, so that's not my goal. But I always wonder what people believe in and think they believe in and what they protest against, especially when I talk about what I do, because they don't have my concept of God in their mind. We are the only being on this planet, maybe in the universe, we just don't know, but then can create our future. We get to work with all the principles in the universe to create in each moment. You know, at some point we became more than animals. We became aware. It was something that happened in our evolution when we started thinking and using wisdom and became aware of each moment, past, present, and planning the future. Animals do it to an extent, you know, but they do it instinctively. We do it out of desire and wisdom. We do it to allow our kids to have better than we had. You know, squirrels don't store nuts and then say, oh, I'm going to teach you a better way to store nuts and make a can. We have that ability. And that's what Adam and Eve is to me. It's that Genesis moment, that spark, when that spark of divinity entered into us, and we were able to work with all that is and shape our lives. And to me, that's the true inception of love in the human race. That's love for humanity at its highest level, when we were given the chance to co-create with God in our own evolution. Hopefully we haven't co-created so much that we destroy our planet and end our evolution. But we also have the ability to change that. Just the fact that you have the ability to ponder life is an act of love from God. And I find that amazing. And I also find that because I have that ability to ponder, I can seek wisdom when I need wisdom. I can give wisdom when others need wisdom. And there are times I do need wisdom. There are times when I struggle in thought. And I get to turn to the Bible and I open it, and there's words in there that fit me in that moment. And it's not always the interpretation that others thought of, or that I even thought of last week or a year ago. I'll read a verse and I'll think I have it. And then I read it another time in my mindset, and it'll change and the words come out, and it's like, well, that makes sense. That helps me. That gets me through today. It gets me through tomorrow. You know, I go back a lot to, and I can't think of where it is in the Bible, but it's right before the Lord's Prayer when he's saying how to pray. Go to a quiet place. You don't need robes. Other people don't have to do it. So I always make sure it's a quiet place. And that allows me to center and focus. And that's where the answers come from. I was diagnosed with, told I had AFib, and that I've had it since January. And those words came back to me. So what I found is I could put my headphones on with a heartbeat, and my body responds to it. I worked in my yard for 2.5 hours after doing that. Walking up and down the steps was wiping me out. But that verse in the Bible told me to go to a quiet place. And in that quiet place, I found the solution. I am hoping that it'll actually flip the AFib so it's always off. Haven't gotten there yet, but I'll take 2.5 hours a day. That's a gift to me. You know, another part is people ask why bad things happen. Bad things happen because it's a product of free will. People use free will poorly. The gift of free will is given in love, but we get to react in each moment using free will. People don't always choose wisely. As far as storms and things that wipe out, you know, there are natural events that occur. God doesn't work like that. But the things that we can do for humanity, and we choose not to, that's the negative side of free will. In New Thought, we like to use terms like higher vibration, enlightenment, and living my truth. And they're really clever, catchy terms, but they mean little. Um, to me, being one with God is when I'm being the best me in each moment. And that's what unity has taught me. Working with God is firing on all cylinders. Everything lines up so you're in your best moment. That to me is enlightenment. That to me is highest vibration. If you walk up to someone who's struggling, they're down at the end of the bar, they don't want to go home, life at home is difficult for them, and you tell them that they need to function on a higher vibration or they need enlightenment, well, they're going to enlighten you right across your face. But when you talk about you just need to figure out who you are, your best self, and work toward that, that makes sense. That's what made sense to me when I was lost. Everything lines up. That's oneness. That's working with all that you have. You know, when Barbara plays, I love to hear her play. I've never had a really spiritual conversation with her, but each time she plays, the spirituality comes out. She is at her best. You have to have that feel or that passion to play the way she does. You know, I feel God move through her when she plays and sings. I feel it when you sing and you look up and smile. I get that feeling when I play my guitar, even if it's just at home, God working through me. We each have those moments where we are doing what we want to do in our best effort. That's enlightenment. That's higher vibration. That's living your truth. And living your truth is one of those words that whenever someone says it, I'm living my truth or I'm going to speak my truth, you know you're about to get insulted or told something you did wrong. I cringe every time someone says, I want to speak my truth. Like what I do. But living your truth is just being who you are, trying to be the best you in each moment, enjoying the gifts of life that we have bestowed upon us. You know, if you like to mold clay, if you like to cook or garden or drive or golf or sail, any of these things that you like to do, being a parent, being anything, that's living your truth. That's following your path. It's not a pre-designed path by someone else who says this is what you need to do. You know your path. So when someone says, gives you rules to it, just smile and thank them that they care enough, but follow your own path. You know, people say, I can't do that, I'm not creative. That's not so. We create our lives in each moment. We create in the simplest things to the most difficult things. From the moment you wake up, everything you're doing is creating. From the outfit you wear to deciding if you want salt on your eggs, to every little thing. Do I wear this shirt? You know, I create when I'm cooking. Do I add Old Bay to shrimp? Or do I add garlic salt? Or whatever you do. You are making your life, and that is what a creative person does. It doesn't have to be about art or music. It doesn't have to be anything other than what you want it to be in each moment of your life. And it's how you interact with each people, with every other people. I was sitting behind a young lady shopping one time, and she didn't have enough money to cover her groceries, so she started to walk away and leave them behind. And I asked if I could pay for them. That was creating with God. I needed to create because I needed the feeling that I got from helping that lady. Helping her was a byproduct of what I needed. And I'm very cognizant of when I do these things to ask the person, because they're doing me a favor. Can I pay for this for you? Will you please let me do this? When she gets to walk away and knowing that her kids were felt, that's a nice thing. And it's great for her, but it's really great for me. But it's paying attention on each path and creating in each moment. You know, I was saying that I wrote this talk, and it's a patchwork. I wrote it and tore it up and wrote it again. Not really tore it up because it's a computer, and I'd have to break the computer to tear it up. So I just kind of deleted it. But I want to convey just kind of what I feel. And I don't know if my talk's for any of you or all of you. But even now, I'm trying to give you the best of me in each moment. And I learned that by going through the Bible, looking at it through my own lens. And here's where I kind of jump away a little bit. John 1:1 says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, with God, and the Word was God." And the word doesn't mean an arrangement of letters. It's an all-encompassing idea. It's God in all its potential. In the beginning was the Word. It's the start of all that becomes all that we know. Those principles were out there. That spirit that ties those principles and makes them do what they do has always been out there. That is the Word. It forms all that we know. Genesis is that moment when we change from animal to being aware. That divine breath of awareness awakens in us, and we create our future. We look at our path, and we have instinct in our lives. And we have this like almost beyond instinct. You know, eating from the tree of knowledge represents that we no longer accept the same terms as all the other beasts of the world. We accept the path of knowledge, good and bad, that comes from free will and manifesting our destiny. That's the moment. That's our greatest gift. That's not original sin. It's original blessing. We are elevated to co-creators in our lives. In that moment, we're given this gift, and that's the meaning of life. We're given all that the universe has to offer to create our lives, infinite possibilities. We get to experience it all, the good and the bad that comes from us. Adam's love for Eve, the bad we see quickly as Cain kills Abel. We get to experience the good. We see the world flourish. We get to experience the touch of another human. We get to hear music and art and witness kindness in others. We get the beauty of seeing nature and passing it on to future generations. We get to write down stuff, how we did things, what we believed in, what our life was like, and allow future generations to know what life was like. I mean, we live in a time that it's just beyond amazing. You know, really, a little over 100 years ago, recorded sound was not capable. You know, when Beethoven was alive, he wrote his stuff down, but they couldn't record it and hear it. You couldn't go, oh yeah, that was actually Beethoven. We now have this technology for all this music to hear the actual originator of that play that, and in many ways. You can hear it on, you know, CDs, albums, MP3 players. You can watch it on YouTube, various things. And that's such an amazing part of our generation and our creation. Even this talk will be on YouTube for future generations. I don't know if it will help them, but it's there. And that's part of the original blessing. That's part of us using all this awareness to handle our generations and go forward. And I learned that from the Bible. I use the Bible every day. In the Bible, I found God's unconditional love. It enhances me. It allows me to have self-esteem and acceptance of others. It allows me to forgive myself and others. I find zest and encouragement for life through the lessons, and allows me to be closer to God. Unity has given me this freedom to look at the Bible through my own lens and find this wisdom. And it also allowed me to separate from the ways that I was taught. You know, if I were to tell you what my favorite book is, it should be no surprise that it's the Bible. It's number one. In spiritual books, I have a lot of them, but the Bible is the first. In literary books, I have a lot of them, but the Bible is the first because it offers both of those. You know, I find when I read the Bible, when I start out, I start by reading it for the stories because that's the hook. They're amazing stories. The story of Moses is amazing. First Samuel, just a great book. The first king, David and Goliath, the friendship of Jonathan and David, Saul's death. It has a hook. Jesus' story. Is there a more captivating story written out there? This man who's supposed to be this incredible Messiah, but he's an infant baby from the get-go. He has to flee because the authorities want him dead. He's born of a virgin, and he has to be born in a manger. His father takes him to Egypt. We don't know a lot about his young life, but we know he has this incredible wisdom because at 12, he's in the temple teaching rabbis and priests. Then as he gets older, we're introduced to him by a man walking around in the wilderness who eats bees and honey, who baptizes people in water, holds them down in water. And that's the start of Jesus' mission. He's tempted. He 40 days on his own, these incredible temptations. He heals people. He teaches people. He talks against authority. He becomes the hero in this story that we attach to and bond to because he's offering the best of himself to everyone. He treats everyone with respect and dignity. And his reward for it is he's cut down, he's tortured. The authorities don't like him. He's beaten, and even in that, he shows incredible humanity. And people show humanity toward him. They help him carry his cross. John of Arimathea offers his tomb to him. And we witness it get worse as a cross. He's beaten and nailed to the cross. And in his death, he's offering forgiveness. And the story, just from a writer's point of view, is so compelling. And then we get to Revelation, which is another epic story. It's not about, the hellfire and the battle and, all that. But those parts, they're just epic to read. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And on one of them, his name is Death. I mean, that's some great writing. And that's the literary part that hooks you. But then you get to the lessons. The lessons, Revelation, be good to each other. All those letters from Paul to the churches, they're letters about being good to each other. And that's Jesus' message. And he teaches it over and over through parables and all these things. And he teaches you how to be good to yourself. He teaches you how to respect the world around you. And you pick out those lessons And the book has just so many layers to it and levels. And that's why I turned to it. That's why I was happy when I was given the chance to write for the study Bible to do so, because I see it in a way which really, really captivates me. And those are the things I hope you guys pick up on. You know, the Bible's one of those books that everybody knows, but nobody reads. And seriously, people, yep, I'm going to read it, I'll pick it up, and then I'll watch Netflix. Or, we just don't read it. But if you get a quiet moment, just forget everything you know about it. Pick out a story. You can spend hours, but it's written so you can just spend 5 minutes a day to read it and ponder it. Ponder it on a literary thing, but also ponder the lesson. But stop on the literary part, or start on the literary part, because that's the hook. Pick out books that have a literary meaning. It's really hard to follow Leviticus and the rules, or just Psalms. Psalms and those things are great to read in one line or two, but they're not a story. So pick out the story parts first. There's a reason that this book has hung around for thousands of years. There's a reason it's the #1 selling book in the world every single year. And then start to ponder the lessons and the meanings. But find a connection to it. And for me, to find that connection, you have to start at the literary end. And then to read other books like Marcus Borg's Reading the Bible for the First Time, or Bart Ehrman has a lecture on the New Testament. And it's about how it was written, the authors. And it's so fascinating how it was written, the things that were added and changed, and the lines that we accept as fact when they've been kind of skewed by past generations. So I'm kind of going to close this out. I told you it was a rambling talk. It was just kind of out there. But I just wanted to give a little of my passion for what I do and why I love that book so much. So I thank you for allowing me to babble for more than 20 minutes.
I woke this morning and I stumbled out of bed. Echoes of a prayer I dreamed were ringing in my head. Quickly grabbing pen and paper, I began to write all that I remembered from the prayer I dreamed last night. And it said, "Thank you, God, for giving me another blessed day. Thank you for the miracles when I have lost my way. Thank you for the right to unlock my own destiny. And thank you for the gifts I have to bring." Blessings are like colors, for they come in many shades. Laughter with someone you love, or lessons learned each and the will to overcome. Finding strength inside ourselves when we thought we had none. And I say thank you, God, for giving me another blessed day. Thank you for the miracles when I have lost my way. Thank you for the right to unlock my own destiny. And thank you for the gifts I have to bring.
Thank you. So because I rambled on so much, I'm going to skip the meditation and just do the prayers of the people. It's almost 11. I don't want to abuse anyone's time. We have a couple people who I do want to mention. Frank came in and was not feeling well and went home, so keep Frank in your prayers. My son has a friend named Trix. His name is Bill Bruno or William Bruno, but he goes by the name of Trix. And he asked us to pray for him. He's in the hospital, and I think in Portland. And then our poetry, the guy who teaches us poetry on Saturdays, his daughter is just not feeling well, but asked if we can offer prayers for her. I won't go into names because she's a kid and I don't have her permission. But at any given moment in the world, there are people who are going through stuff, who are not feeling well, who are struggling just to move around, to get food, to feel happy, to feel healthy, to feel whole, for whatever reason. So to each person in our world, to the people in our nation, to people in the shelters, to the vets who are sitting on the streets, to the mothers who are wondering how they're going to feed their kids, or the father who are struggling to make it through the day, to anyone who is going through anything that's adverse. We see them as whole, healthy, happy, connected to all that is in our planet and in the universe, connected through God and all that God is, connected through our highest self to them. We affirm it is so, and so it is. Amen. If you join me for the prayer of tithes and offerings.
I ain't never worn a halo, don't suppose I ever will. As far as saving me goes, it's a battle up a hill. I keep climbing, trying, fighting. I got a King James in the dresser, and I take it out sometimes, but Lord knows I ain't measured up to what's inside, and they say that's okay. But I keep praying for the day that I can open up that good book, and heaven don't look like it's out of reach. When it feels like those apostles are giving me the gospel, and not the third degree, I just wanted to read like Bible verses, and not the Bible versus me.
that's really good. Is that yours?
No, Blake Shelton.
Okay. Wow. You step here. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen. And join us for the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. All is well, and we are richly blessed. Join us for the peace song. Thank you all so much.